Hello everybody, and welcome to another railfanning video. I'm hoping that people will find this one exciting, or at the very least interesting, since it features Te Huia as well as 2 DCs in the Tranz Rail black or Bumble Bee livery. Alright, let's get going. On Wednesday the 25th of May 2022, DC 4421 was towed all the way to Auckland on freight train 234. This locomotive was withdrawn from service in 2019, if I recall correctly, and she had been in storage at Hutt Workshops for about a year before being dragged up the main trunk. For reference, and if my research is correct, DC 4421 was rebuilt from DA 1441 and originally built in 1961. This makes the locomotive an impressive 51 years old at the time of uploading, and in her final years of service, she was the oldest operational mainline diesel on KiwiRail's roster. I was one of many railfans, or foamers as we sometimes call ourselves, who turned out to see the DC's transfer run, but I deliberately arrived in Hamilton several hours early. The first service I caught was the afternoon Te Huia train, with DFB 7295 leading and 7077 trailing. Speaking of Te Huia, I recently caught their spare engine, or rather their regular spare engine, DFB 7335, going to Hutt Workshops in Wellington. After watching Te Huia's departure, I went and hung around at the nearby Kalani Road crossing for a fair while before catching DL 9544 with the M90D shunt from Te Awamutu. This one, 229 and 234 were the only DL hauled services I filmed on this trip, and I willingly ignored at least 9 other trains for reasons I've discussed in previous videos. And that lot was train 229 from Auckland to Wellington. At this point I still had several hours to go before DC 4421 showed up, So to help pass the time, I went over to Mātangi, on the former Cambridge branch, to film another Bumble Bee DC. Bumble Bee being the nickname for the old Tranz Rail black livery. On this occasion, DC 4853 was hauling the M52K shunt from Hautapu to Hamilton. After at least an hour of waiting around at Frankton station, it was time to get the camera rolling for DFB 7077 and a returning Te Huia service. For reference, by this time it was about 7:40 in the evening, and Te Huia was at least 7 minutes early. And on the official website it lists the arrival time as being 7:47, or as I sometimes say, Boeing time. In a stroke of quite incredible timing, DLs 9066, 9285 and 9204 showed up not even 5 minutes later. Of course, this was the long-awaited Train 234 with DC 4421 in the consist. As a somewhat suitable end for this video, here's DFB 7295 being fired up before leading the empty train back to Te Rapa. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.